What's up? Welcome into your weekly Buckeye Rush Hour for Friday, March 1st, first of the month. It's the first of the month. Get up, get up. All right. You guys know how it goes. March 1st, 2024. Let's get into it. We are talking about the odds to make the 12-team playoff this year. Yes, I know you're hearing a lot of stuff about 14-team and 16 and so on. That's not until 2025 or 2026. So we'll see how soon they make that switch. This year, 2024, the world we live in is a 12-team playoff. So we're going to get into the odds according to, we can call them the official bookmaker of the Buckeye Casts. They don't pay for that privilege, but they should. BetOnline.ag. I would recommend them for your offshore betting. Anyway, don't forget to check out the Buckeye Vault. I just uploaded a ton of videos. We're up over 220 videos right now in the vault. Check it out. You get your 3-day free trial. No questions asked, no credit card to sign up for the free trial. You get a free preview just by popping on the site. Just go to the buckeyecast.com, click on Video Vault at the top of the page. Today, I just uploaded highlights of the Bosa's and Chase Young all together. I uploaded the best QB runs from 2002 to 2020. I uploaded highlight videos for Damon Webb, Buckeye safety, Antonio Pittman, Justin Fields, every touchdown by Justin Fields, Tyvis Powell, Jalen Marshall, Von Bell, Sean Wade, Chris Gamble, Jack Sawyer's 2021 highlights, same for Travion, his freshman year highlights. Then yesterday I uploaded a bunch of game highlights. So I've got all of 2022, 2023, and most of 2021 up there. I'm working to get the rest up there, but I've got like all the player highlights you could ever want. Working on filling those out. If there's a player you're looking for, send me a message through the site. There's a button at the top of the vault page to request a video. So check it out, thebuckeyecast.com. Click on Video Vault. Okay, so let's kick it off here. I will get to your questions and comments in the chat. We'll get to everybody's input. I don't believe Jeff or Sean are joining us today. Sean is probably celebrating his wet March since he was on dry February. So he's probably laying in a gutter somewhere covered in booze. Anyways, let's get to it. We're going to use these 12-team playoff odds from betonline.ag. And these are pretty much in line with how I see things going. But anyways, so these are the odds to make the playoffs. Just to make the playoffs. This is not to win the playoffs, win the championship, anything. It's just to get in. Okay. So starting off from the top, Georgia and Ohio State are both at minus 800 to make the playoffs. So not a lot of value there, obviously. But with Georgia, let's look at their schedule here real quick. Now, they do start off the season at home against Clemson. Could be a tough one. I don't know. I think they'll probably win going away against Clemson. Tennessee Tech, Kentucky. They do go to Bama. Now, what kind of Bama team are they going against is the real question. Seems like their roster's kind of been pilfered. Obviously not the same coaching staff whatsoever. I could easily see Georgia going in there and getting a dub without a lot of strain. Then they have Auburn. That's a dub. Mississippi State. They do go to Texas. So there's two tough games right there. At Alabama, at Texas here in late October. That one, that's a battle right there. That's going to be a really tight spread for sure. Texas may even be the favorite there. Depending on how Georgia's doing. Then you got Florida, easy win, at Ole Miss, then Tennessee, then UMass, and then Georgia Tech. So, yeah, kind of a ho-hum end of the year, which is usual for Georgia. So, yeah, I see possibly two losses at the most, but that's at the most, man. So, but they definitely will make the playoffs. So the minus 800, you got to feel pretty strong that that's a good bet. The Buckeyes at minus 800 as well to make the playoffs. We've read the schedule a million times, but I'll go through it quickly for you. Akron, Western Michigan, Marshall. That's the preseason, I guess you could call it. Then they go to Sparty. So week 4 of they cracked the Big Ten schedule by going to Sparty, smack them around. Then Iowa. Then shit gets real when you got to go to Oregon in the middle of October. Then Nebraska. Then you got to go to Penn State. That's going to be a real one. Then you got Purdue at Northwestern. Please don't put that in Wrigley Field, for Christ's sake. Don't get me started there. Then Indiana. Then the cheaters come to town. So over under there, I feel comfortable over 10.5 games with the Buckeyes. So James Franklin does not worry me, even at Happy Valley. Continuing the odds here, Texas is next up at minus 500 to make the playoffs. So let's look at Texas here. Went 12-2 last year, but they're in the SEC this year. Whole new ball game, folks. Oh, by the way, I got a little shot here. Castle and Key, excellent bourbon. Highly recommend it. I was feeling a little tired before the show, so I thought maybe a shot might wake me up, and it will. So looking at Texas's schedule, Colorado State, then they go to the cheaters, Ann Arbor. Yes, they're going to whoop up on the cheaters big time. Then UTSA, UL Monroe, they got an easy-ass schedule. Mississippi State, then they got Oklahoma. That's probably an easy win. Oklahoma's they got rid of Dylan Gabriel for some reason. Then they got Georgia, we talked about. Then they go to Vandy. They got Florida, Arkansas, Kentucky, Texas A&M. So A&M could be a tough one. We'll see what Mike Elko has them up to. And the Georgia game, that can go either way. Michigan should be a win. Oklahoma should be a win. But that's a relatively tough schedule, man. I would not want any part of that. They do get a lot of the easy SEC teams with Vandy, Arkansas, Kentucky mixed in there, Mississippi State, shit like that. So, but they should easily make the playoffs. Oregon up next, minus 450. All right, let's see what Oregon has here. They went 12-2 last year also. So they start off at Hawaii. It's a nice vacation to start the season. It'd be nice to just kick your feet up for a few weeks. Then Idaho, Boise State, at Oregon State, at UCLA. Then they got Sparty. Then the Buckeyes come to town middle of October. Then they got to travel to West Lafayette to Purdue. That's going to be a shock. That's going to be a wake-up call. Then they play Illinois. Then they got to go to the Cheaters. That will be interesting in November. Oregon going to the Cheaters. I would like that. Then Maryland at home. Then they got to go to Wisconsin, middle of November. Yikes. Then Washington. So I know that Oregon's up north, but I don't know if they play in as cold temperatures as we get in the Midwest. So that's a tough schedule once you get through week 5, 6, after week 6, midway through. They got the Buckeyes. You got to go to the Cheaters. You got to go to Wisconsin. We'll see what Luke has the boys up to. Then you got to play with Washington at home. So there's 4 tough ones in there. But I think they'll still make the playoffs. Florida State, minus 225. So getting a little better value here as we go down. Where the hell is Florida State? Oh, here you go. 13-1, but held out of the playoffs last year. Oh, I hate FSU. Anyway, so here's their schedule. Georgia Tech, Boston College, Memphis, Cal. Yeah, Cal. That's a conference game, by the way. Jesus. SMU, same. Then you finally got a tough game with Clemson. Then they got Duke, Miami, North Carolina without Drake May. Then they go to Notre Dame. That'll be a tough one. Then Charleston Southern, then Florida, the rivalry game. Pretty easy schedule all the way down. You don't know what you're going to get out of Miami. You can't bank on anything there, pun intended. And Notre Dame, that's probably an L, I would say. So we'll see. Yeah. Jordan Travis, he is coming back, I believe, but looks like he's not going to be back till summer. So will he be up to speed by the end of August? At least they do have a garbage schedule to start the season off with. So they probably will win the ACC or come close, and will probably make it into the playoffs at -1, 225. Clemson, same 225. Where is Clemson? Oh, wow. Clemson. Scrolling 19. Yikes. They're 19 in the way too early polls. All right. So Clemson has, for week 1, we talked about versus Georgia. That's probably a loss for Clemson. Then they got App State. That could be a ball game. NC State, Stanford conference game against Stanford. Yes. Then Florida State, Wake Forest, Virginia, Louisville, Vatech, Pitt, Citadel, the Cox of South Carolina. That's pretty cupcake schedule outside of Georgia. FSU will probably be a bit of a tough one. That's about it. South Carolina, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, they'll probably squeeze into the 12-team playoffs at -225. Still not worth betting, in my opinion, but the odds give you a good idea of what Vegas thinks of these teams. K-State, -190 to get into the playoffs. Okay. They were 9-4 last year. Well, ew. Just shit myself. Oh, there we go. Kansas State. Okay. Just took their quarterback, but they were probably going to start the younger guy anyways, Avery. So they start off with UT Martin, then Tulane, Arizona, BYU, Oklahoma State, Colorado, West Virginia, Kansas, Houston, Arizona State, Cincinnati, and Iowa State. I don't know. I don't know what to think of this. They were 6-3 in the conference last year. I see them. They could lose 3 games. Oklahoma State's probably a tough one. I wouldn't be too worried about Colorado. You just have to score with them. Kansas, that's probably going to be a decent game. I don't know anything about Arizona State this year. Cincy either. Iowa State probably be a tough game. So, yeah, we'll see if they can squeeze in. I don't know. I don't know if K-State gets in there. Well, the cheaters here coming up number 8 in the likelihood to make the 12-team playoffs at -110. So decent value. Let's see what they got going on here. Okay, so they start off with Fresno State. No surprise here. Cupcakes. Then they got Texas coming to town. That's going to be a kick in the nards. Then you got Arkansas State. Don't forget, folks, pop in the chat. Hit me with your questions and comments. I'll get to them, I promise. Arkansas State, then they have USC coming to town. That's going to be a ball game. We'll see what USC has on defense. They might not need much of a defense against this cheater team. They probably will have a decent offense. If that Miller Moss at quarterback is going to be in there, and how much can they do? What can they put together? Sip. When the cheaters have Minnesota, Washington, they got to go to Washington. That's going to be a tough one. Then Illinois, Michigan State, then they got Oregon coming to town, Indiana, Northwestern, and then they come to Columbus. to get their ass kicked. So good value, -110. I don't feel good about them making it into the playoffs. I could easily see them with 3 losses on the season. Four is probably realistic. I could see that. So let's go. We're only going to do like the top 10 here. Most likely teams to get in. Utah is up next. The Utes. What did you guys do last year? 8-5 last year, but Cam Rising is supposed to be back at quarterback, so that's good. So their schedule goes Southern Utah, Baylor, Utah State, Oklahoma State, Arizona, Arizona State, TCU, Houston, BYU, Colorado, Iowa State, and UCF. I don't know what to think of this schedule. They were 5-4 in the conference last year with the backup quarterback. Maybe Oklahoma State's a tough one. That's about it. Colorado, we don't know what you're going to get from Prime and the boys. Iowa State, maybe. UCF, see what they have going on over there at Orlando Tech. So maybe Utah squeezes in because they're in a weak conference. I could see that. So they're at -110 right there with the cheaters. So now you're getting into some value here. Ole Miss at +100. They've made a lot of moves in the portal. Lane thinks he's got shit going on. He did lose Judkins. Let's see what Ole Miss has for their schedule. There we go. They went 11-2 last year. They're starting off with Furman, MTSU, Wake Forest, Georgia Southern. Jesus, those 3, is that 3 of the first 4 FCS teams? That's pathetic. Now I see why Lane's going for it all. Kentucky, South Carolina, LSU, that's a loss. Oklahoma, Arkansas, Georgia, that's probably a loss. Florida and Mississippi State. So easily 2 losses in there with an easy schedule starting off the season. We'll see what Oklahoma has going on. Florida, I'm not too concerned about, but yeah, good value at +100. I would probably throw some money on that one. Even money to make it into the playoffs. Miami also +100. Kind of surprising there. I figured that they would be, I don't know. They went 7-6 last year, 3-5 in their conference. I don't know. Even if the ACC did have 3 auto bids, I'm not sure they could finish in the top 3 in their conference. They got to go to Florida. With Miami, I don't feel good about that game. Then they got Florida A&M, Ball State, South Florida. So they're taking the tour around the state of Florida. Vatech, Cal, conference game. They have to go to Cal. So I don't know if that's good, going from one corner of the country to the other. Louisville, Florida State, that's a ball game for them. Duke, that could be tough. Fuck. Georgia Tech, Wake, and Syracuse. So you never know what to expect from the Canes. They seem to they're top steppers, I would say. A bunch of cheerleaders on that team is what I would call them. All right, last one. Let's do 3 more, and we'll get to your comments in the chat. Penn State +125. That's interesting to me. That might be good value because I feel if you're in the Big Ten or the SEC, you've got a little leg up on everybody else in the country. A 2-loss Big Ten team should get in. And I could easily see Penn State being a 2-loss team. Same with the SEC. A 2-loss team should probably get into the playoffs when you're dealing with just 12 teams. So Penn State's schedule goes West Virginia, Bowling Green, get off my Falcons. Then Kent State, my other alumni, Illinois, UCLA, at USC. We'll see about that one. Don't forget, Penn State does have Tom Allen as their new DC, the former Indiana coach. He might be a better DC than head coach. So you go to USC. That's going to be a really awesome game to watch. They should put that in the Rose Bowl, man. Then they got Penn State has to go to Wisconsin. Then they got the Buckeyes after that. Then they got Washington after us. Then they got Purdue, Minnesota, and Maryland. So I see 2 losses in their future. It could be 3 up to 4. Probably 3-ish is what I would lean towards for Penn State. Then Bama is plus 150. So you got good value there. I don't know if that is a good thing for Alabama because you really don't know what you're getting with this team and the coaching staff at all. Let's pull up their schedule. All right, they went. What did they do last year? 12-2. A lot of 12-2s out there. Start off with Western KY. I think that means Western Kentucky. Okay. Then South Florida. Then at Wisconsin. A lot of good teams have to go to Wisconsin this year. See if Luke can serve up some ass whippings. Then they got Georgia at home. Then Vanderbilt, South Carolina, Tennessee, Missouri, at LSU. That's probably a loss. Then Mercer at Oklahoma, and then the Iron Bowl against Auburn. I'm leaning towards 3 losses on this season. Kool-Aid McKinstry has a fracture. What? I'm just reading a headline talking about Bama. He has a fracture in his right foot. Oop. Discovered at the NFL Combine. That's not good for your draft prospects. All right, last one we want to touch on is Notre Dame, the Golden Domers, plus 160, so good value. And again, they always seem to get the benefit of the doubt when it comes to rankings, polls, whatnot. Right now, they're ranked number 5 in the way too early polls on ESPN. So their schedule starts off at Texas A&M. That could be a tough one. We'll see what they have. Then Northern Illinois, then Purdue, Miami of Ohio, Louisville, Stanford, Georgia Tech, Navy, Florida State, Virginia Army, at USC. I got probably at least 1 loss. Florida State could be a second loss. USC would be yeah, I think at least 2. I think their over-under was 9.5 wins on the season. I'm going to go under. I think they go 3 losses this year. So just to recap real quick, your most likely teams to make it in to the 12-team playoff: Ohio State, Georgia, minus 800, Texas, minus 500, Oregon, minus 450, Florida State, minus 225, Clemson, minus 225, K-State, minus 190, Cheaters, minus 110, Utah, minus 110, Ole Miss, even money, Miami, even money, Penn State, plus 125, Alabama, plus 150, Notre Dame, plus 160. Interesting. I wonder if Vegas is not too pumped about Drew Aller at Penn State. You know, and I'm sure they're not too worried about Jalen Milroe at Bama. At least I'm not either. All right, let's pop in the chat, see what's going on. Ooh, hey, we got some action here. Happy Friday to you and yours in the chat. Let me take a quick sip. All right, let's run through the comments here. Keep them coming. Decius first in the chat. He says, OH, IOTU. Decius says, Bama going to play D like Indiana when Womack was their DC. Yeah. Odysseus says, very crucial early season to get the tune-up with Howard and Chip Kelly offense. Yeah, multiple tune-up games, right? You got like 4 of them. Billy, what's up, Billy? Good to see you. Odysseus says FSU is a 1-game season versus Clemson. Yeah, pretty much. What happens if they lose that 1 game? It could make or break both their seasons, right? Clemson gets the win. That's great for them. Florida State loses. Could be bad. Real bad. Odysseus says that schedule is why the ACC champ shouldn't be guaranteed a bye. I'm with you there. I'm not sure they should even be guaranteed a spot in the playoffs, to be honest. Get the ACC the hell out of here. Billy says you have to keep Big 12 and ACC engaged. Yeah, I guess for the TV contracts. Odysseus says skunk fans must be laying lots of money. Could be. Appreciate everybody hitting the like button on your way in. Don't forget to check out the video vault on the BuckeyeCast.com. Continuing with the chat, Billy says, I'd like to thank Harbaugh, Moore, Minter, and of course Stallions for bringing helmet comms into college football. Yeah, I was going to touch on that if you guys didn't bring it up, but we can still talk about it in a bit. But yeah, that's going to be voted on soon. Unfortunately, a lot of good teams had to lose games to those cheaters in order to get these helmet communications. Jeremiah, what's up, Jeremiah? He says, hey there, Joe. Are you as excited for the 2024 Ohio State spring game as I am? This is the most anticipated football season in Ohio State history with all those who came back. That's right. And all those who joined us and came in. I'm very excited. It moved. Odysseus says, you forgot Ward the Hut, Billy. Yeah. Yeah, Ward is the mastermind. Jeremiah says, with all the Buckeyes did in the portal this offseason, let's go Buckeyes. All right, Jeremiah. And Odysseus, and of course, President Yoko. Yeah. Yoko stood by her man, and so did Santa. I hate that Michigan's president is named Santa. Hate that. I'm a big Christmas guy. I love Christmas. He ruins it. All right, Billy. Billy says, of course, how could I forget the upstanding head of the CFP? It's been a week since Buckeye Scoop and those clowns reported that Ward Manuel is going to be fired. I haven't heard any movement on that. I've heard Juwan Howard could come back. That was John U. Bacon who said Juwan Howard might be back for another year. Whew, you freaking kidding? Jeez, what a shit show up there. Billy says, I missed Allen as Penn State DC. That could be interesting. Yeah, because what's his name? Mario Diaz took over the Duke head coaching job. Doug Shepard, what's up, Doug? He says, what's up, fellow Bucknutters? Yes, what's up, Doug? Odysseus says, man, ESPN loves them some Riley Leonard. They do. They sure do. Anything that involves Notre Dame, ESPN's going to pump that fucking leprechaun. Billy says Leonard will probably disappoint like Hartman. Yeah, I don't know, man. They got an easy fucking schedule. I'm going back to look at that right now. Notre Dame, here you are. Yeah. I'm really curious to see how they handle Texas A&M going down there. That is August 31st. So it's still going to be a little toasty down south. If A&M can get their shit together in a hurry, that could be a difficult one for Freeman and the boys. But the rest of the schedule is garbage. Florida State's the only one, and then at USC. We'll see what Florida State can bring to the table. I think Notre Dame could lose at USC pretty easily, but we'll see. That's let's see, last game of the year. Yeah. Back to the chat. Doug says, if someone is hell-bent on doing anything to win, including cheating, then they will tap into the Hunt's headsets. Yes, on the helmet comms. I get you. Yeah, Sean was speculating about that last Sunday. I don't know if I think it's that simple. I think there's a little more to it, but Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. That seems kind of difficult. More difficult than cracking the code of the video. But Odysseus says that also worries him. Jeremiah says Notre Dame is as overrated gets. Yep. Billy says maybe they'll just start putting laxatives in the other team's Gatorade. That's gross. Take a shower, Billy. So yeah. Oh, hey, check this out, guys. I don't know if you guys heard this breaking news just came out like less than an hour ago. According to a letter from NCAA President Charlie Baker, he sent it to all the member schools of the NCAA. So, everybody, the NCAA is pausing and not opening new investigations involving third-party collectives for NIL-related activities. This is as a response to the Tennessee and Virginia lawsuit. Let me repeat that key part for you. The NCAA is pausing and not opening new investigations involving third parties, collectives for NIL related activities. How's that grab you? So shit, the NCAA is done. They're done. I mean, we've been watching it happen. They're just throwing their hands up on this one, on this NIL stuff. They're like, we're out. Crazy. This new president, Charlie Baker, must not have a spine. He seems like he's willing to lay down for just about anything. Probably because they have no money to go to court to fight all these court cases. And there's going to be more coming that are NIL related. You know, kids are going to start suing more. And now you have the attorney generals for Tennessee and Virginia filing cases. So yeah, this is not good for the NCAA, but oh well. I don't know. Seems like this is, I don't know. It is terrible timing for the cheaters. I mean, terrible for us, good for the cheaters, because who knows? All Michigan has to do is outlast the NCAA. And judging by what's going on with the NCAA right now, they could be out of business in like a fucking week. You know, the NCAA could be no more. So I've heard a lot of talk that Big Ten and SEC presidents and chancellors are considering leaving the NCAA, banding together, you know, touring the countryside, singing songs. So we'll see. Back to the chat here. Odysseus says Notre Dame hasn't done squat since Lou Holtz. Yeah. How long ago was that? Freaking 35 years. Odysseus, Wild Wild West, NIL wise. Yep, exactly. Odysseus says if they don't hammer the cheaters, they need to fold because they're useless. I have no faith, man. I got no freaking faith that the NCAA is going to carry out any penalties on anybody. And if they do, why would anybody listen? Whether you're the cheaters, you're Tennessee, doesn't matter. I don't know why you would bother listening to them, you know, if you're a school. Billy says, will the NCAA have the power to punish the cheaterines? Again, it's not looking good, man. The NCAA is made up of all the presidents of the universities in college sports, right? So if they are leaving, if the Big Ten presidents are like, no, we're out. If the SEC presidents are like, no, we're out, what happens? I mean, you're going to end up being a bunch of, group of 5 NCAA. That's what you're going to consist of, besides Division 2 and 3 and all that. I know, but yeah. Johnny Harris, what's up, Johnny? How you doing? Welcome to the show. So, where's the TV money? Is his question. I'm not sure what the TV money's going to the conferences. Like the Big Ten has contracts with NBC, CBS, and Fox, right? So that's going directly to the conference of the Big Ten, which then divvies it up among the schools, right? Same with the SEC. ESPN is their TV contract. So ESPN is paying the SEC. SEC doles out the money to those guys in their conference. So it's there. Odysseus says, I don't see why not. Supreme Court never ruled on cheating is okay. This is NIL related. Oh, it's good. Johnny says, put Saban as NCAA chairman. I'm fine with that. He would do a lot more good than anybody else you can think of. He actually cares about the players, in all this talk about the playoffs expansion, we're going into a 12 team this year. Then there's talk of the 14, 16, whatever team. Nobody's talking about the players. These guys, the players need to band together, start a union, so they are not playing 20 games in a season, man. Right now, Ohio State is looking at playing 16 or 17 games this coming year. That's a freaking NFL schedule, man. It's nuts. Plus, the roster management has to change. You could have the 85th guy on your roster, the last dude, the dude that, never plays. He could end up playing in the championship game if you have enough injuries at a position. It's going to be nuts. But again, Saban cares about the players, and he cares about college football as a whole, the sport, So that's why I agree with you, Johnny. 100% hire Saban to do that. He could do it from his home. He doesn't even have to go to an office. He could attend Zoom meetings from his home while he's out on the golf course, whatever. But I'm 100% with you on putting Saban in charge of something. Billy says, who will enforce rules if we break away from the NCAA? Well, that's the thing, is you got to come up with a new rule book with the SEC and Big Ten combined. Call it the big SEC book. I don't know. But yeah, you have to write your own, a new rule book, so you're gonna have to hire a bunch of fancy lawyers to go start pounding that shit out. And it's going to take a long time, but you could copy and paste a lot of the NCAA crap, cut out the stupid stuff, that doesn't apply to big time football. But yeah, you're going to have to start your own enforcement wing. Well, the Big Ten has a little bit of an enforcement committee. Remember when they were suspending Harbaugh this past season? It was a group of, I don't remember how many, 6 or 8 university presidents from the Big Ten comprised this committee, and they all voted, yes, suspend the cheater. Remember? And then Michigan was going to go to court. They backed off because they're a bunch of bushers, and never happened. Everything just went away because they didn't want to go through the discovery process in court. So anyways, Billy, to answer your question, there are those pieces in place as far as enforcement, but you're going to have to build up your staff there, if the Big Ten and SEC break away and join together. It's a process, though. In the meantime, you're going to have to either live in the Wild West or live with the NCAA rules. Odysseus says maybe the new Big Ten SEC committee will hammer the cheaters. I feel too much pressure from schools to punish them. Lots of livid ADs and presidents. Exactly my point, Odysseus. Yeah. Yep. I could see the SEC piling on if they were to join with the Big Ten and they form a enforcement committee. I could see the SEC taking a hard stance against that as well. They hate Michigan too. So, yeah, it would be a process to go through and start a new organization essentially, But hey, at least if it's just the Big Ten and SEC, it's a much smaller organization. You don't have as many different, you don't have Division III as part of your organization. It's big money schools, right? Just 2 conferences. So it can be done. This is not impossible, in my opinion. It just takes some time. And the real question is, what do you do in the meantime? Especially with some of these open cases like the cheaters, So, yeah. So this breaking news is strictly about NIL collectives, but it does make it pretty much open season to go out there and have these collectives deal directly with the recruits, make offers, even in the portal guys, not just recruiting, but portal recruiting, just like most schools have been doing. It just hasn't been publicized that, here, we got a new offer for you. How's $1 million? Oh, that's not enough? Okay. How about 2 million? So it's just going to be more out in the open and widespread. All right. What else is happening? Oh, yeah. The helmet comms. Let's talk about the helmet comms since we're talking about the cheaters. So the committee, what's this committee? Another fucking committee. NCAA Football Rules Committee has proposed a series of new rules that could go into effect this fall. You got helmet communication, the 2-minute warning. I think I kind of like the 2-minute warning. What do you guys think? Thumbs up or thumbs down on a 2-minute warning? It would be at the usual time, like the NFL, end of the half, end of the game. So second quarter, fourth quarter, 2-minute warning. Let me know what you guys think in the chat, up or down. I kind of like it personally. I think it's good, especially for teams that are out of timeouts or getting low on timeouts and they're behind. They're trying to put together a drive. I think it's good to have that. Plus, the TV stations, the TV networks love it because you can fucking hammer us with more commercials, right? I mean, that's what it's all about. More commercials. Anyways, on the helmet comms, just reading here. So this would be from coach to player of one player on the field. They'd be identified like in the NFL with the green dot on the back of their helmet. So you'd have the communication between the coach and that one player, and the microphone would be turned off with 15 seconds left on the play clock, or when the ball is snapped, whichever happens first. So your coach could still be reading the play to you. Well, if you're going against a high up tempo team, you're still like, hey, what the fuck's the play? But anyway, so 15 seconds left, or when the ball is snapped. Yeah, 2-minute warning. I'm good with that. No problem. Oh, the tablets. They're talking about using tablets in game and at halftime. They have the the committee recommended that teams have the option to use tablets to view in-game video during the game. The video would include the broadcast feed, so what we see at home, and then camera angles from the coach's sideline and the end zone, so like all 22 basically. They would have 18 active devices for use in the coaching booth, sideline, and locker room. And all team personnel, including players and coaches, will be allowed to view the tablets during the game. So, yeah, those are the big three. They also talked about some other rule proposals. Changing the replay review system. It says a collaborative replay review system. I don't know what that means exactly. Penalizing horse collar tackles that occur within the tackle box as a 15-yard personal foul. Currently, a horse collar tackle within the tackle box is not a foul. Did not know that. I thought it was always a foul, no matter where the hell it was. And then allowing head coaches to conduct interviews after the first and third quarters with broadcast partners. All right, don't care about that. So, what do you guys think? 2-minute warning. Let's go back to the chat here. Odysseus says maybe the new Big Ten SEC committee will hammer the chief. Oh yeah, I just read that. Sorry. Odysseus says that's why I'm annoyed. Our compliance reported 4-0 burgers. You have to report those 4 little things, because if you don't and something big happens, then they'll bust your ass for not reporting the little shit stuff. Yeah, it's one of those things you have to do. Odysseus says don't really care one way or other about the 2-minute warning. Billy says no 2-minute warning, but bring back clock stop after first down. Okay. So I got no problem with that either, Billy. Honestly, I like the clock stoppage, especially in like the final few minutes of the game. I think that's useful. I don't think you need it throughout the entire game. Like in the first quarter, do you need to stop the clock after a first down? That seems a bit excessive. And we were getting some 4-hour games back, a while back. But anyway, Jeremiah says a 2-minute warning can be tried. If it works, great. If not, fine, tweak and tune it so that it does work without completely eliminating it. Okay. Yeah, I don't have a big problem with it. It's like, what's it going to cost you? 1 extra play, really? So one more clock stoppage. I don't enjoy having another round of fucking commercials that I have to sit through, but they're going to find more and more ways to squeeze that shit in anyways. So this playoff seeding is going to be really interesting this year, going to the 12. It's going to be really interesting. I know that you can say on one hand, like Ohio State, for example, it's okay if they lose a game early on, but still, it affects your seeding, man. Like I was trying to hammer that home with Jeff and Sean on Sunday night last week. Seeding is super important, especially if you're getting 4 buys. 4 teams are getting buys. You definitely want to be in that top 4. And if losing an extra game, like maybe 2 losses, knocks you out of that top 4, that can hurt you. I think that's very important to make that 4-team buy. And we'll see what happens in the future when they do decide how many games they're going to go to, whether it's 14 or how many teams, 14, 16, whatever. But yeah, it's going to be very, very necessary to win every game. Like I know it's always been that way, but I've heard people say that you can afford to lose a game or two and still make it into the playoffs. Yeah, that's true, but you're going to be at the bottom end of the playoffs if you of the seeding. If especially if you have two losses, dude, you're going to be playing a top 4 team probably, or at least a top 8 team. So Odysseus says buys are crucial to avoid attrition, very much so. Not just the regular season buys, but yeah, buy in the playoffs, especially that time of year. You're banged up. You know, say Ohio State goes in. I just read through their schedule there. At the end of the year, things get real freaking tough real fast. You got Oregon, Nebraska. You don't know what you're going to get out of Nebraska, but then Penn State, you're going at Oregon and at Penn State 2 out of those 3 weeks. Then you do finish up with the cheaters coming to town, but then you're going to have a Big Ten championship game most likely. So you're going back-to-back weeks with a really tough game again. So yeah, you got to be healthy, and then how many weeks do you get off to recover from that Big Ten championship game before the playoffs start? Is it 2, 3, what? That's one thing I need to check into is how this playoff calendar is going to look. I don't even know if they've solidified it yet. I imagine they'd have to have first round in December. First round of the playoffs would have to be in December. Yeah, they don't have a schedule up yet. But that's going to be important. Billy says the CCGs will probably be eliminated soon, the conference championship games. Maybe, but that's a big paycheck for every conference, man. Those conferences love their money. And that's all she wrote. Yeah, that's millions of dollars that goes right into the conference's pocket. So they're probably gonna want to keep that. I don't know how you can replace that money. Plus, the schools that go to the conference championship game get a little paycheck. Probably get to split the ticket take. Exactly. Odysseus has it nailed. Dr. Pepper loves their halftime giveaways. That is the lamest contest, by the way. Those people are like chest passing. It's not a basketball. It's a fucking football. They shouldn't let them chest pass the footballs into the big ass trash can. I don't agree with that technique. I know it's faster, but you should make them use one hand only to throw the ball. That's a simple rule. If you want to underhand it, go ahead. It's just going to take longer to get into the trash can. But yeah, Dr. Pepper needs their halftime giveaway. Just one hand. You get one hand. Very simple. Just my opinion. Nebraska has a ton of returning production. 77%. Wow. Iowa State, 85%. Maybe Iowa State's going to be a little better than we thought. Rutgers is up there, 74%. Look for that. Look for Rutgers to have a decent year. I think they got an easy schedule too. Not that we need to go down the Rutgers rabbit hole, but I think they got a relatively easy schedule. Where's Rutgers? Here we go. 7-6 last year. We got Howard, Akron. Those are 2 wins. At Vatech, I don't know. Washington, probably a loss. Nebraska, I don't know. Wisconsin, probably a loss. UCLA, I don't know. At USC, probably a loss. Coast to coast. Minnesota, I don't know. Maryland, I don't know. Illinois, probably a win. Michigan State could be a win. I don't know. This is a very winnable schedule. That will be interesting. It's okay, Billy. You always got to remember to follow the money. So me, Jeff, and Sean will be back Sunday night. Sunday is Sean's birthday, so we're going to need a chorus to come together and wish him and sing a happy birthday to him. So if somebody wants to lead that, that'd be great. I could just have Jeff do it. We'll see if Sean shows up. He has to take his kid to a football camp in Cleveland. So that's a nice little drive from Detroit to Cleveland. I would not want any part of that. So he might be on the road heading back from Cleveland. We'll see if we can get him to call in. See if we can get him all fired up again about the 14-team playoffs. Yeah. Overreaction. Odysseus says UCLA looks like a mess heading into the Big Ten. Yeah, they're screwed. And they got no money. They got no freaking money yet. They're waiting on that Big Ten network paycheck. Jeremiah says, a decent year for our Buckeyes is an undefeated all the way through the national championship game with Ohio State holding up the big gold trophy at the end. Red exclamation point. Sign me up, Jeremiah. Sign me up for that. Odysseus painting the perfect picture of a 16-0 season and the cheaters get hammered. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure what they'll do to the cheaters. Take away last year's wins or something. 2022, 2021. Got to take away some scholarships to make it hurt. You know, it's like I don't know if you guys heard the interview with Ryan Day today on Morning Juice. What Bobby Carpenter was asking him about the depth, or maybe it's the other dude, Brandon, asking him about the depth. And I agree with him. I've been thinking this, like all 85 scholarship dudes and even the walk-ons are more valuable the more games you play. You know, look at how many position groups we've had injuries with, had trouble fielding healthy guys. The corner room a couple of years ago, we had to start a true freshman, Jair Brown. The running back room, same year. Running back room in 2022 was a mess because of the injuries. So Billy says show cause on Sharon Moore. Yeah, but he's not going to get fired for a show cause. He's still going to be their coach. You know. Odysseus says Scum needs SMU punishment. Yeah. I don't know if they're going to get that, man. SMU has been irrelevant for decades. I know. But I don't think they're going to get that. I don't think they're going to get that. I think the cheaters are going to continue to stand by their men, Stallions and Harbaugh. And I think they're just going to tell the NCAA, prove it. We dare you, prove it. So we'll see. Don't forget, check out the BuckeyeCast.com. Get in there, check out the video vault. Over 200 videos are there. You got your condensed games going all the way back to the 60s. Got a ton of recent highlights with Paul Keels from the last. I uploaded the Ohio State Miami game from 2002, the championship game with Paul Keels doing the highlights. And then all your favorite players, their highlight films, and not to mention all the 2025 recruiting videos you could ever want. And as Ohio State puts out more offers and gets more targets together, I'll be putting those videos out too. So refer a friend. I'd greatly appreciate it. If you know somebody that would like the videos, again, no ads. This is like a YouTube with 0 ads, no commercials. So hope you'll check it out, the buckeyecast.com, the video vault. So that's all I got for you. We will see you Sunday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, right here, YouTube Live. Talk to you later. Go Bucks.